God is too mighty and majestic for anyone to have will or volition except by his earlier will and volition. Fulfill the state of enslavement by being content with his wisdom, and by worshipping in order to carry out his commands. If you accept everything as preordained, then you see that God is the doer. In connection to people who are given a bad guy or antagonist role or script by God in this world, you will not feel contempt at the person. In connection to your own deed, if you feel that your good deed is done by your effort, you will be arrogant, conceited, excessive proud, prideful. If you see that God is the doer, you will feel humble. The highest rank of being thankful is realizing your incompetence to be thankful to God because God is the doer. If a person think that his wealth is obtained by his effort, he will be arrogant, conceited, excessively proud, prideful. If a person think that his wealth is a trust given by God, he will distribute his wealth according to the command of God. He use it like taking water from the river, he only take what he need and let the remaining water to be used by other. If a person think that his love for God is because his effort, he will be arrogant, conceited, excessively proud, prideful. If a person think that his love for God is a gift from God, he will be humble. God guide whom he will. In connection to role or script distribution, he can change the protagonist into antagonist and vice versa during the person lifetime. So we need to ask his protection, aid, guidance and success. Do not let a heart stray that thou hast guided by thy grace, and avert the evil which the pen has written. Let the evil of thy ordainment pass from our souls. Do not cut us off from those who are well pleased with thee. O Allah, I seek refuge in your pleasure from your wrath, and I seek refuge in your forgiveness from your punishment, and I seek refuge in you from you. The warner and the warned are like someone awake and someone asleep. Whoever awakes from the slumber of his heedlessness, opposition and rebellion does good to awaken others from that sleep. Be abased like water and earth, dust. Water remained abased because of its density and sluggishness. Be a dust that cling to the robe of God. The earth that people walk on. Know that he can do whatever he wishes in justice and overflowing favor with you and by you. If he inclines to you with his mercy and overflowing favor, he has accepted a small amount of your obedience and has given you a great reward for it. If he demands his due of truthfulness and sincerity by his justice towards you, he has veiled you and rejected your obedience, even if you have had obedience in abundance. He does what he wills. Acknowledge your incapacity, inadequacy, fragility and poverty before him, for you have turned yourself to worshiping him and being close to him. Turn to him, and know that neither the secret nor the revealed part of any creature is hidden from him. Be like the poorest of his servants before him. Strip your heart of every occupation which might veil you from your Lord, for he only accepts the purest and most sincere. On the day of resurrection those damned to hell will see the blessed in paradise. The dwellers in paradise will say, the joys of paradise disappeared for us when the sun of that divine beauty shone on us. Then the dwellers in hell will say, indeed, we believe that. For when we learned that we would be separated from that face for eternity, the fire of the pain of longing so overwhelmed us that we felt nothing of the flames which engulfed us. From head to foot, single quote. The mere thought of being cut off in the hereafter for one moment from seeing God, brings the lover of God into despair. A lover of God is weeping and someone asks him what's making him weep. He answers, it's said that in the hereafter God shows himself to his chosen ones for 40,000 years without interruption, but then a moment will come when they'll be returned to themselves and see themselves. Because of this moment when I'll be returned to myself and see myself, I am in grief. Not to see oneself as a precondition for beholding God and united in God. Rumi quote. If you are irritated by every rub, how will your mirror be polished? The mirror is rubbed by affliction. Egoism is the ladder climbed by the creatures. They must fall from this ladder in the end. The higher one goes, the more foolish he is, for his bones will be worse broken. This is the corollary of the subject. And its fundamental principle is this: that to exalt oneself is to claim co-partnership with God. Not accepting decree and being angry means in opposition to God. Know that the afflictions he sends are filled with the eternal marks of his honor, and that the trials he inflicts bring about his pleasure and nearness, even though it may be after some time. Authentic lover gladly endures whatever the beloved does to him, indeed experiences it as something that makes him happy, because in such a case the beloved focuses his will on him. Pardon is when you do not charge your companion for what he has done wrong outwardly, when you forget the cause by which there was inward affliction, and when you extend great charity in your choice despite having power over him. No one could find a way to that pardon except by the one whom God has pardoned and forgiven for the sins which he has committed and the deeds he has put off, and who has been adorned with his mark of honor and clothed in the light of his radiance. This is because pardon and forgiveness are two of the attributes of Almighty God which he entrusted in the secrets of his pure friends, so that they adopt the manners of their Creator and Maker with creation. This is why he said, they should pardon. Do you not want that Allah should forgive you? And, Allah is forgiving, merciful, 24:22. If you do not pardon another mortal like yourself, how can you hope for the pardon of the compelling King? The covetous person is in the midst of 7 difficult evils. Thinking, which harms his body but brings it no help. Anxiety, which has no end. Weariness, from which he will find rest until he has the greatest weariness when at rest. Fear, which only makes him fall into what he fears. Sorrow, which makes his livelihood disturbed without any benefit to him. Reckoning, which will not save him from the punishment of God unless he pardons him, and punishment, from which there is neither flight nor escape. Our first life is in the spirit form. You should know also that in the world of spirits, God had ennobled man with beauty and its qualities, and had made him sufficiently acquainted with himself and his attributes, and the spirits continued for a long time participating in enjoyment in the land of affection, intoxicated and in ecstasy with the cup of love and the wine of celestial union. Afterwards, in accordance with divine wisdom and by sovereign decree, they fell from that exalted world to this lower world, from the world of union to the world of separation. In this world of trial, having entered into bodies and become entangled with the things of sense and with worldly occupations, and shut out from the spiritual world, they forgot its intimate friendships and the joys of its society. Being so far distant from that world, the being and character of God became completely veiled from the view of some, and the love and union which had existed in their hearts from all eternity disappeared. Only a small part of the souls, already in pre-existence, decided in favor of God against the world and paradise. In pre-existence, an infinite amount of time before they're joined with bodies, the souls are gathered and drawn up in a line. Then the world appears before their eyes. A part of the souls run toward it with heart and soul. Then paradise and hell appear to those who had not moved. Again a part of the souls now run away from hell toward paradise. Only a small group is left which chooses neither the world, nor paradise. The divine voice says to them, "You foolish souls, what is it you want? You don't want to know anything either of the world or of paradise, nor are you moved by the sight of hell." Then the small group cries, "You know what we want. We want you and nothing else." Again the divine voice says, "If you desire us, then you likewise desire immense torment, torment more than the hairs on the pelt of animals, more than the grains of sand in the desert, more than the drops of rain and the leaves of the trees." But the group of the lovers of God cries out in joy, "We sacrifice our life to this torment. Whatever you wish to do with us, may it happen." The human spirit before fused with the body enjoys closeness or intimacy with God and cared only to seek the pleasure of God. Closeness to the divine King is the highest value. It should not be given up for anything else. For me, the King's countenance is enough. The presence of God has a reassuring and pleasing effect. This feeling of intimacy in the presence of God the Arab mystics call uns. Among the Persians the word hudr, being present, in fact means happiness of heart, peace of soul. Inner peace, internal composure. In this connection, one perhaps thinks of personal closeness to a real or ideal personality which delivers one from the anxiety of solitude. But in the sense of inner composure, the word at the same time means the opposite of distractedness, to have one's thoughts clearly ordered, to be mentally focused on something, without digression and deviation. God is a jealous Lord who does not want his creatures, whom he has created for himself, to turn to anyone else. God has created you for himself, has created you for his proximity. That's why he doesn't allow you to turn to anything else for one moment. The king's slave who prefers a position of honor far from the court of the king's proximity is punished. What concerns me is you. Jewels and treasures are all wind. As long as you exist, I have everything. May the day never appear which separates me from you. Don't let yourself be led astray by paradise and hurls, women in paradise, because without God, paradise is devoid of light. My prayer for Reiko Chan. My Lord, who is perfect in self-remembrance and praising himself, wash Kaori Chan heart. Give her a soft, living and loving heart so that she can love you. You love her first so she can love you. He, whose heart is washed by Allah Ta'ala, is not only relieved of the symptoms of spiritual diseases but is totally cured of them to the extent that these diseases do not reappear. Who can, thus, be a greater friend than one whose heart has been washed and cleaned by me? Since nothing that you do happens for a reason. Forgive Reiko Chan without a reason, O Creator. Scatter good fortune over Reiko Chan. For you give without reason. Adorn her with your mark of honor and clothe her in the light of your radiance. My Lord, please teach Kaori Chan how to conduct with you. My Lord, grant Kaori Chan success in remembering you in order that she will able to remember you. My Lord, who is more excellent than bounty, greater than generosity, show generosity upon generosity and kindness upon my Jasmine, Kaori Chan, because she has shown generosity and kindness. My God, you are too vast in favor and forbearance to punish Kaori Chan for her action and abase her for her mistake. In Islam, if you are questioned in Reckoning Day, you will be punished. The Lord of everything. You have power over everything. Please forgive and pardon Kaori Chan, this kind lovely Japanese girl, for everything. Do not ask her about anything. Overlook her sins and misdeed. Do not punish her with any punishment. Say the word, I have forgiven you. Fakad go fartulakum, to her. By your generosity, kindness and mercy. You do what you will, my Lord, and you will not be questioned. As I explained previously, human spirit is created from the light of God. The first woman, Eve, is created from the rib of man, Adam. Nothing subsists of and by itself except the pure essence of God. May his glory be exalted. I always ponder on how love and fear of God can exist at the same time. My take on it is human fear losing the love of God. Tasawwuf teaches to have short hope. If it is destined, it will come to you. Like I said, if we are not united in this world, I asked God for us to be united in him as part of his light. Worship is enough of an occupation. God is sufficient as an intimate friend. Desire only Allah. Attach your heart only to God. When people has attachment to the worldly life, he will suffer agony from leaving them behind when death arrive. Neither my heavens nor my earth contain me, but the heart of my believing servant contains me. If the heart is pure and free of everything besides God, one can communicate with God directly like Rumi. Rumi refer the human spirit as an eagle, put in a cage of the body. The drum of God called the eagle to come to him. The laws, Akam, and decree, Akhdar, bind his creatures, but he is the Almighty beyond all decrees, Miqdar, and laws. So God do what he will. God actually only love himself. As a painter who make painting and said that he love his painting, God said that he love his creation means that he loves himself, he praise himself. Reasons to love God are his beauty, his noble character and his blessing. There is a saying, love a person for the sake of God. If human is mirror to God in his noble character. My take on it is I love you for the noble character of God in you. The quest for Allah. The quest for love, acceptance, mercy or forgiveness and countenance or companionship. Tasawwuf. The idea that heaven and hell is not the real reward and punishment. The real reward and punishment is the meeting of God and banishment of God. God does not want to see and talk to the person. Separation from thee would quickly destroy me. Separation from one's friends is fatal. If thou shouldst separate from me, still would I be occupied with thee, ever active friend, who are the object of my desires, for thou wilt not turn away from him who loves thee. Do you not see that in its outward appearance the state of prostrations is not complete except by disappearing from all things and being veiled from all that the eye see? Thus does God want the inward being to be. Allah give human earth. Human like the gift that the gifter. Tasawwuf. Like what I say to you. Say I do not want the earth, gift, I want you. Believers also vary in the strength and weakness of their certainty. A person whose certainty is strong may be recognized by the fact that he finds himself stripped of all ability and power other than what God has given him, and by his keeping to God's command and worship both outwardly and inwardly. He considers the states of having and not having, increase and decrease, praise and blame, might and abasement, all to he the same because he considers them all on an equal level. However, a person who weakens his certainty attaches himself to external matters, and allows his self free reign therein. He follows the customs and sayings of people without substantiating them, and strives in the affairs of this world, accumulating its wealth and holding on to it, acknowledging and affirming it with his tongue. There is no withholder or giver except God, and the slave can only obtain what he is provided with and allotted. Effort will not increase provision, but he disavows that by his action and his heart. How can a slave be anything other than fearful when he does not know at what action his record will be closed, while he has to his credit no deed capable of helping him, no power to do anything, nor any place to fly to? How can he fail to hope when he knows that despite his incapacity he is drowned in the seas of God's blessings and favors, which cannot be counted or numbered? Love of God is a fire which does not pass by anything without burning it up. The light of God does not come over something without illuminating it. Rumi quote. The truth was a mirror in the hands of God. It fell and broke into pieces. Everybody took a piece of it, and they looked at it and thought they had the truth. Half-heartedness doesn't reach into majesty. Contentment is a kingdom which does not vanish. It is the ship of God's pleasure, bearing whoever is on board it to his house. Whoever is content with what is allotted is relieved of care, grief and fatigue. To know and to act is different thing. To have knowledge of it and the ability to amend it is different thing. Do you know why God created human? It is to become his mirror. His noble quality is found in human in small bits. So I need you as my mirror. Can one see his face without a mirror? It is said when you know God, you can only love him. You cannot resist loving him. He is the compeller. In Tasawwuf it is said that Allah knows what is best for you. In Tasawwuf the key not to be questioned is not desiring this world and only take what you really need. Desiring this world will result in reckoning and punishment. The Tasawwuf people do not desire earth and heaven. They do not fear hell. They only desire God. If one let go the world and heaven and love only God, there is no need for the book of deed. Fate is based on his knowledge. The script that he has made before human ever created. Allah do what he will and human has no power but to accept it. They plot and plan, and Allah too plans. Quran 8:30. No free will. Allah is too mighty for that. Do you see when human plan but God has other plan for him or her? Like a student who just graduated from college is hit by a train. The separation of lover caused by the death of one party. Like a husband who died after having his child born. The act of God like earthquake, flood and fire that took away many lives. All is preordinated by God. We think we have a free will and choice, but we actually performing the script that God made or programming as in computer. Your longing for me is my message to you. All your attempts to reach me are in reality my attempts to reach you. This indicate that God is the doer. Quran 15:29. Once I perfect him, and blow into him from my spirit, you shall fall prostrate before him. Quran 32:9. He shaped him and blew into him from his spirit. And he gave you the hearing, the eyesight, and the brains. Rarely are you thankful. Quran 38:72. Once I design him, and blow into him from my spirit, you shall fall prostrate before him. Human is powered by the Spirit of God, the light of God. Surely we are Allah's, and to him we shall surely return. In the end the light of God will return to God. I will wait for that time when we will be united again as light of God in God. Until then, see you my